we may say.
Welcome to the top fourth wall, where mankind is burned. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Rusty, you're not the smartest. Liefeld, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had that comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man. Watch, wears a pretty hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where he versus Linkara. Coins, robots, Amazon, trust Linkara. This comic sucks, Linkara.
All right, everyone ready?
Yeah.
I don't think you're ready. I mean, you've been waiting this long. Are you ready? Okay, now you can dial it back. Alrighty. Hello and welcome to Bride of Atop the Fourth Wall Live. If this is your first time witnessing Atop the Fourth Wall, be it in live or regular episode form, I apologize in advance, and you will receive a full refund at the conclusion of the panel.
It's free!
I will also note that I am reading from a script, so I apologize in advance if I slur my words or flub my lines. You know, we just got past Halloween a few days ago, but I'm still kind of in the mood for something spooky. And because this is an anime convention, let's get some manga in there too. So join me, my friends, as we spiral into another tale from Uzumaki. Now, before you start panicking, because, well, Uzumaki, you can relax. This is one of the goofy ones. Nothing about this little tale in the Uzumaki saga makes any damn sense. For those who don't know, Uzumaki is a horror manga by Junji Ito about a small town which is experiencing a very strange, dark curse focused around spirals. There's stuff like snail people, a girl who has a black hole grow in her forehead, the mushrooms. Oh God, the mushrooms. It features lots and lots of disturbing imagery and creepy as all hell stories. This is not one of them. Well, okay, admittedly, it kind of gets creepy near the end, but it only happens because of the characters' bottomless stupidity. So sit back, relax, and remember, this is a horror story about a teenager who thinks that jack-in-the-boxes are the way to a girl's heart.
What?
And admittedly, it's off to a promisingly creepy start. You've got this little page with the jack-in-the-box and its creepy not eyes. Seriously, why the hell would you ever make a humanoid toy and not include eyes? Is that what toy makers used to do? Find new ways to give kids nightmares? Speaking of nightmares, we have Creepy Boy with only one eye exposed, which kind of gives it a grudge sort of feel. Yeah, that won't last. I mean, he can't really scare us right out of the starting gate like that, and oh God,
Oh, hi there!
in my school, there was a 7th grader named Mitsuru Yamaguchi. He used to love to jump out and surprise people. It usually ended with someone's fist in his nose. Everyone called him Jack-in-the-Box. I called him Get the Hell Out of My Face, you idiot. Also, I'm apologizing in advance. People have told me that Kiri is not the way to pronounce this character's name, but I don't know. Kirie. Okay, we'll go with that. One day, I realized he liked me. Kyrie, let's go out sometime! Be impressed with my jazz hands! She says it got on her nerves pretty fast, which really goes without saying, and frankly, and she and her friend decide to hurry home before he finds them. The two walk home through a cemetery, and the friend, Shiho, points this out to us. Don't you think it's creepy that we have to walk through a cemetery on our way to school? What? Damn, if only they lived in a country well known for its massive amounts of public transportation. And And yes, I know it could be a small village that doesn't require it. You don't need to ruin my jokes. I do that well enough on my own. But here, let me offer some constructive feedback for the two. Walk around the cemetery instead of through it. If you're walking to school to begin with, I think you can afford an extra 5 minutes. The friend points out that they're burying people in the cemetery again instead of cremating them. Really? Why?
Why not?
What? Huh. Yeah, Kyrie, that's a real pickle. I wonder why that is. Could it possibly be because of that enormous black spiral cloud that has been hovering over your town for the last 7 frickin' stories of the manga? The one that came about because of all the bodies being cremated? The cloud whose ash and soot went down into the lake behind your house? The same lake where your dad was making weird pottery with the souls of the dead baked into them? Do you think it might have something to do with that? Just throwing that out there, Kyrie. Just a shot in the dark there.
Could it be?
Kyrie, have you not been paying attention? Last week your hair got possessed by evil and got into a hair fight with another girl. Don't pretend that didn't happen. Really? Why? Kyrie, why do I get the impression that if I yelled into your ear, I could hear my own voice echo back to me? And yeah, her friend points out that big reminder of the spiral cloud from the cremation smokestacks. She honestly needed to remind Kyrie of this, despite Kyrie being front and center to all the weird crap that's been happening in this town.
Yeah, just a coincidence.
Anyway, that's the pre-book color segments out of the way, so back to black and white. They say it's pretty creepy that there are actual bodies under all the gravestones, and they decide to walk faster. And Mitsuru jumps out from behind the gravestone and yells, boo! Ladies and gentlemen, Jump Scare, the comic. Did I surprise you? Stop! Kyrie tells him to leave her the hell alone. I didn't mean to make you mad. I didn't mean to make you mad. I'm sorry. It's just my habit to surprise people. And judging by this facial expression, it's also his habit to make clothes out of people's skin. And then wear them while dancing with a mannequin that he calls his mother. Shio points out that Kyrie already has a boyfriend. I know, Shuichi, right? Forget about him. He's a drag. Unlike me, I give you heart attacks. Isn't that exciting? I want to have a pretty girl like you as my friend and impress everyone. As my girlfriend and impress everyone. Surprise them, you know? Oh, smooth, man. Tell her that she's nothing more than glorified arm candy. I can't figure out why women aren't just lining up to give you their panties. She tells him once again to leave her the hell alone, and they walk off. I won't give up, Kyrie. You'll turn to me eventually. Murdering you will make you love me. This dude got all his moves from the Edward Cullen Guide to Picking Up Women. Actually, snark aside, I do like that the artwork on Mitsuru here kind of resembles Edvard Munch's painting The Scream. It gives an added flavor of creepy. Kudos. Yeah. Says that he kept following her, and as we can see here, his next role model for attracting women was Oscar the Grouch. Yep, cover yourself in garbage and filth, dude. You just exude sex from every pore.
It was empty when he went in there. That's how it's happening.
Please, Kyrie, no hands! He even starts standing outside her window and yelling up to her. Dude, that only works if you're holding a boombox playing Peter Gabriel songs over your head. I wish my hands could reach into your room. I would grope the hell out of you. And script malfunction. Yeah.
You can do it.
I got it.
Yeah.
She even gets a gift delivery from Mitsuru.
Oh, God.
Burn it.
It's a small cube-shaped object, like a box. I wonder if there's something inside of this box. Perhaps something with a common name that starts with a J.
John, maybe?
Perhaps it's a jack-o'-lantern.
Or a Jack Daniels.
Kyrie tries to give it back to him, and he just asks her to open it. She, however, admits that she's kind of getting pissed off about this whole thing, and that the more he follows her, the less she likes him. Plus, he's not honoring the restraining order. I guess I didn't take the right approach. I really do care about you. How can I show you? Perhaps if I cut off my ear and sent you that. That's it! I saw something like this on TV! No, Mitsuru, don't start singing. Actually, he runs into traffic. My love for you will stop this car! Yeah, and judging by the sound effects on the last panel, you can guess how well that goes. Although, this would have worked if only he had yelled, "Stop in the name of love." He says he saw this on TV once. Most notably, world's worst crashes caused by idiot pedestrians. And for the squeamish in the audience, I'm just going to warn you now, this is where we're going to start getting a bit more gruesome. And yet, at the same time, more goofy. Kyrie runs up closer to the car that hits Mitsuru, and... be in for him to get stuck in the wheel well. I know I find this disturbing, but I'm just asking questions here. That is not normal. I mean, just look at it. Where is it? If the car was going as fast as it was in order to pull him under the damn thing, wouldn't you have just smashed into the windshield and flown over the car? Or were his feet cemented to the ground and he just rolled in there? This isn't scary, this is confusing.
How'd the windshield crack?
Yeah, how'd the windshield crack?
I guess someone was shooting at him from crashing all or something. So, yeah, he's dead. Story over? Baby? Wait, what's with these guys in the panel who have no eyes? My God, they're agents for the Faker Corporation! Mitsuru was Johnny Turbo this whole time!
We just misplaced our eyes.
After the funeral, Kyrie is naturally depressed and probably blames herself, though personally I blame the moron who thought he could control traffic through the power of obsessive stalking. love. She opens up the box and, shock of all shocks, it's a Jack in the Box. Mitsuru...
Title drop!
Mitsuru, she reacted with anger and revulsion every time you jumped at her. What the hell made you think a toy based on this premise would suddenly turn her around on the whole thing? Later, Kyrie is talking with her boyfriend Shuichi on the phone, who tells her that it isn't her fault that all this happened. However, the Jack-in-the-Box tells her it is. Except, it really isn't. There's a reason that the expression "fools rush in" exists, And here's your nightmare fuel.
For all the children. He died for you, didn't he?
I've got to say, I'm not loving this new sequel to Toy Story.
And now he'll come back for you.
So not only is it a Jack-in-the-Box, but it's a talking Jack-in-the-Box that says creepy taunts to its owner. Man, that Mitsuru, he always knows the right stuff to get for people.
He knows what the ladies want.
Later still, Kyrie and Shuichi are walking in the graveyard. Kyrie, you could have just burned the Jack-in-the-Box. Was grave robbing really the next step here? Or, I don't know, maybe she's still feeling guilty and decided to play Frankenstein. But, what was your plan? Isn't it obvious? I'm gonna hammer this stake into his heart before he can come back to life. Okay, everybody with me now. Palm up front. And go. Dear Lord, would I have loved to have seen how this conversation got started. Hey, honey, a Jack-in-the-Box is talking to me and saying I'm responsible for that idiot's death, and he's going to rise up and take revenge on me. Can we go play in the street to somehow do something to prevent that from happening? Well, this isn't the weirdest stuff we've done in this store. We've seen this town poll, so okay. But seriously, this was Shuichi's plan. Even Kyrie points out that she doesn't think he's a vampire. And seriously, even if he was a vampire, with all this spiral crap, what the hell makes you think a wooden stake would stop him anyway? If you're gonna dig him up, you take that shovel and you flatten his face into mush. And then you set the mush on fire and bury it again. I mean, if you're already all in it, if you're already at this point, go all in is what I'm saying. They find his grave and Shuichi starts digging. I guess the soil must be loose because they easily get down to the coffin. Kyrie points out that it smells awful and that the body must be rotting and he can't possibly come back to life. That's a good point. Here's another idea. It's a wooden box. Bring lighter fluid and burn the box like this. You don't even have to see the corpse. The smell is indication enough that it's in there. But no. Shuichi asks for the crowbar because, well, he's an idiot.
Gordon Freeman.
John Freeman, who was Gordon Freeman's brother. After he pulls out the nails, the casket window opens. I admit, this might be a Japanese thing, but I have never seen a coffin designed like this. What the hell's the point of a tiny little window for it? If you don't want the body exposed to air, why isn't there glass in the window? I'm at an anime convention. Does anyone know this?
Mail's here.
Yo.
It's actually for the viewing ceremonies, so you can see the victim's face as opposed to their entire body. It's just for the facial purposes, and then they put a cloth on it when they're dead.
Yeah, it's like ours are split in half.
Yeah.
Or Mel's here.
And the glass will probably break under the skirt.
Well, anyway, just to warn the squeamish, once more, it's time for some more gruesomeness.
Do it!
Peekaboo!
Oh, hi there!
Okay, come on, Mitsuru, use your words. Is it brains you want? It's brains, isn't it?
No, it's Brian.
No, he wants beer.
And Mitsuru's distended corpse just pops that coffin lid right off into the side. Translation. Oh, man, does it feel good to stretch again. Hey, do either of you have a towel or a napkin or something? I'm kind of leaking from the mouth here. And so he rises up, and as you can tell, Kirie and Shuichi have just been standing here this whole time instead of, swinging the shovel at him or anything. I guess they wanted to see where Mitsuru goes with this. They start running, but it's time for more gruesome that ends up being more silly than scary. Mitsuru jumps into the air and lands again, but losing all his burial robes, so he's buck-ass naked.
His junk fell off.
Again, he's jumping into the air to do this. And we confirm that he's bouncing thanks to Kirie yelling, "How can he jump like that?" My friends, I give you Naked Hopping Zombie. So, Shuichi, got anything that you'll think will stop a naked hopping zombie? Garlic, perhaps. Hawthorn bush, wolfsbane, a crucifix, maybe? I mean, you seem to be the expert on naked hopping zombies. What was your brilliant stake in the heart plan? I will... Here's the thing, I'm actually skipping the panel featuring his intestines falling out. And instead, just let the leg falling off.
Show it.
I don't have it here. I didn't bring it because I figured that some people might not like that. This is perfectly okay, though.
It's only a fresh one.
Shuichi says that his body's so rotten it's falling apart. Hasn't he even been buried for only like a day? Do corpses rot that quickly? I think this town really needs to look into the soil. That can't be normal. So the naked hopping zombie loses both of his legs and falls over. Shuichi thinking it's all over now. Thing still has some hit points because it ain't done hopping. Now, I admit it is getting creepier, but let's undermine that by showing why he's bouncing. He has a spring inside of him.
It's a spiral.
What the hell? His spine's turned into a spring? I admit I am on the fence about whether that is stupid or awesome. However, apparently Junji Ito must have looked at that dialogue, stopped for a second, and said, no, that's just stupid. Because we learned that, no, his spine has not turned into a spring. Instead, there's a dumber explanation. After the naked, legless, hopping zombie reaches Kirie, the body finally completely falls apart and the spring bounces away.
What?
Naked, legless, hopping zombie Mitsuru is now dead without the spring in his body. I hate to do it, but no springs! So, what's the real explanation for that spring, besides his spine becoming one?
It's the suspension.
That's the suspension from the car. The front wheel spring was lodged into him. It was never removed from the corpse.
What?
Bull crap! Nobody noticed this during the autopsy? That's not the kind of thing you overlook. I don't think Jack in the Box will ever be back again. Well, technically, he never would have come back at all if not for you two twits. Think about it, people. He only busted out of his coffin after Shuichi had pulled out all the nails from it. This dumbass zombie couldn't get out of his grave unless somebody did all the heavy work for him. Hell, I bet if they had just shoved him over when he first got up, his body would have fallen apart and he wouldn't have chased you. Anyway, this comic sucks, but not too much. The ending chase with the zombie was actually pretty frightening until you actually start thinking about it, and it just becomes kind of silly and stupid. Everybody in this comic is an idiot, from the love lessons of Mitsuru to Kyrie not remembering all the crap that's happened in the town to Shuichi's anti-vampire plan to stop Mitsuru. The only credit I can give is the disturbing artwork, par for the course for Uzumaki, but it doesn't save this otherwise unbelievably dumb idea. That's all I got for this one, so thank you, everybody.